What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. Okay, back at it again with my main man, Stuckey from the Action Network. Big Bets on Campus, Action Network podcast. Make sure you go subscribe. Follow it on YouTube. He's slinging takes. He's slinging thoughts. And most importantly, he's gambling because that's what Stuckey does. And as he put out on the Everything app earlier this morning, incredible Saturday slate. And, you know, I think the last couple weeks have been, I don't want to call them duds. I guess 2 weeks ago was good. Last week was a little rough, at least on paper. All lines are presented by our friends and our presenting sponsor at Hard Rock Bet. But Stuckey, this college slate is pretty good.
Yeah, and there's nice distribution, which I always like. I have nice distribution with my bets too. I hate when I end up having like
7 things
6
going at
bets
once
at noon, and I'm like, let me ease into the day. And so yeah, I mean, you have Bama, Missouri early, Ohio State, Illinois. If you want to put that on another TV, then Indiana, Oregon, Red River, Oklahoma, Texas on another TV, and then at night you got Georgia-Auburn, USC, Michigan, Texas A&M, Florida. Got an Arizona State, Utah game, huge game in the Big 12. Winner of that will be favored to get to the Big 12 championship game to take on the other favorite to get there in Texas Tech. And then, I mean, you even have a Utah State, Hawaii chase game if you need it at midnight. Don't chase, by the way. So yeah, great college football Saturday that will make up for a very lackluster NFL late window. We're going to need your Niners and Bucs to play a good game because the other two, there's only 3 late games. The other 2 are Titans, Raiders, and Bengals, Packers.
Wow. Yeah, so
the good thing is that's all the Bucs do. The Bucs will have the ball late.
Well, same with the Niners. All the Niners games have been very entertaining. So it's like, well, let's start with Arch because I was watching more UCLA, Penn State. Tim Skipper, I've known him since I was at Fresno State. He's a stud. I was so fired up for him. That was a really cool moment for him, not for James Franklin. But I went to this game last year, and I remember talking to you about it. And I remember getting there, and my buddy that works, he's like the GM. Well, now Nagy is, but he's one of the personnel guys for Oklahoma. He was like, you know, listen, all of our offensive line are out, and you'd been saying that all year long. All their wide receivers were injured. Our defense is good, but this is going to be tough. Oklahoma actually hung with them till a couple minutes left in that first half, and then just the quarterback, who more than likely Hawkins is going to play in this game. It was tough. I mean, it was a rough watch. This Oklahoma team clearly is better. And to me, if Mateer was playing and hadn't gotten injured, I wouldn't like Oklahoma in this game. I'd fucking love them. Now, this Hawkins guy, based on last year, it's rough. But I went back because I didn't watch live the Florida-Texas game. Florida was destroying them. Like that they were getting worked. I mean, at one point in time, what was it, 26-6 or something? I mean, it was several scores. And once the punt block and the dam broke, you're like, God, Texas just, and it's not even just Arch. They were just getting outplayed.
They couldn't block Florida.
Yeah. So I just think, and they bring in Tim Drevno, one of Sark's guys from SC. They got major problems. Obviously, Arch hasn't played that well. Their offensive line's in shambles. I think Oklahoma's been circling this game. I mean, their defense is awesome. So I like Oklahoma. A little risky with the quarterback situation. Does Mateer rush back? I mean, can he grip the ball? But how is Texas going to score on these guys?
Yeah, Sark's going to have to get creative. It's like Arch has not played well. Just watching him, you can tell, like, I mean, I don't know what happened with his arm motion, but he's not been accurate. I mean, the fact that he couldn't throw against UTEP was very concerning with a sub 50% completion percentage. Only threw for like 135 yards. But all the problems aren't on him. The offensive line also has taken a huge step back. Like, Texas just hasn't recruited who they have now, who they recruited along the offensive line. They just haven't hit. They have like 2 guys, Goose being Campbell, but their other 3 are just huge vacancies. And that's what got Texas to the next level the past couple of years. Obviously, they have a ton of talent everywhere, but their offensive line, their trench play, that's what enabled them to compete with the big dogs in the SEC is that they went out and they addressed the trenches. The offensive line doesn't have it. Arch obviously is not who a lot of people thought he was. Throw those two things together, and your offense is completely dysfunctional. On the Texas defense did get kind of work last week. They still have an elite defense. I mean, DJ Lagway was just on one. Yeah, they weren't ready for Dallas Wilson. Who's one of the best receivers in the country, true freshman in his first start last week. I think I talked about him last week.
You did.
Him playing.
Was that who Lagway hit on one of those deep bombs?
Yeah, he was the kid who had 200 yards in the spring game.
Lagway's reminds me of Jamarcus Russell. Probably could just sit on his knees and throw 100 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that one sidearm throw that he had was ridiculous with the velocity he got on.
I mean, that was a rough look for Arch, just looking at the talent. Two blue chip guys. You're like, well, I see it in the one guy. I don't really see it in the other guy.
Yeah. The other thing, so Oklahoma, they have the same issue as Texas in that their offensive line is still not up to the standards of an elite SEC team. So they can't run the ball at all. And their offensive line, I don't think is going to be able to block Texas. I don't think the Texas offensive line is going to be able to block Oklahoma as one of the best defensive fronts in the country. When that happens, I tend to look at the under. Now, this is a super low total with a ton of athletes on the field. And so I don't know if I'm going to bet the under. I'm hearing mixed things about Mateer. I know a lot of people that are close to the Oklahoma program.
What was the injury? He broke a bone in his thumb?
Yeah. So they have, so some people close to the program think he's going to play. But I don't know if they're there's been a couple leaks behind the scenes that he's going to play. I don't know if they're leaking that. And I'm sure they don't want Texas to know either way, but I don't think anyone knows for sure. They have OU paid for a cellular skin regeneration office from Dallas to set up in their facility to work around.
I love college football boosters.
So I don't know. And then they're going to work on his thumb the entire time. Will he play number one? If he does play, I think Oklahoma will go to a 2.5 point favorite. I don't think it would get to 3. You would have Texas money with such a low total in a defensive battle. If he doesn't play, I don't know if I can bet Oklahoma with Hawkins.
Would you like him though if all things were equal and he was just completely healthy and this had never happened in Oklahoma in this game?
Yes, for sure. But the other thing is if he plays,
what would this line be then? -4 Oklahoma or something?
Yeah, if we knew he was 100% healthy, I think that Oklahoma could be a field goal plus favorite. But if Mateer does play, is he healthy? Is he rusty? Right? So there's a lot of uncertainty. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game where both defensive lines dominate. The uncertainty with Mateer means if I could find out or had an inkling, and this was around a touchdown, where it would make a huge difference, maybe I would have a bet here. But as of right now, I have nothing. But if you think you like Oklahoma because you think their defense is going to dominate, that's a very valid take because their defense is dominant, and this Texas offense is broken right now. They're going to have to get rid of the ball quick. Sark's going to have to be in his bag in the screen game. And I think that's the only way they're going to be able to consistently move the ball, run Arch a ton, because I don't know if Texas can block Oklahoma, but I'm also not sure if Oklahoma can block Texas, and I don't trust Hawkins if he has to play. So just a ton of uncertainty. Hard game to handicap.
Okay, 2 Big Ten games. Oregon hosting Indiana, which I want to hate on Indiana, but they've been pretty good this year. Props to Cignetti. I thought they had 6-6 written all over them. So they're getting 7.5 on the road. At arguably given its size and just how it's over you, it's just a place you can't think. It's going to be so loud and nuts there. Lanning's just going to have those boys rolling. And Michigan-USC for 2 teams that were had awful records last year. This was one of the better games of 2024. Michigan versus USC in Michigan. I remember watching that thing this is a thrilling game. Remember they drove down the field without throwing a pass and had a walk-off touchdown. Michigan could not pass in the game. USC, the quarterback who's now gone, was pretty good in that game. Who I'm talking about?
What was his name?
He transferred somewhere, but he was pretty good. I actually thought, like, God, this guy's going to be a pretty good player, and then they ended up kind of forcing him out at the end.
Orgy? Was it Orgy who played that game?
Well, it was Orgy for Michigan, but USC's quarterback.
Oh, Miller Moss, who's at Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, God, Miller Moss pretty good. To me, it's like that's a lot of points, but tough spot for Indiana. I think Oregon, if they cover, I got nothing but respect for Indiana. I wanted to take Michigan. I saw Sharon Moore said, yes, the Coliseum sold out because Michigan's going to be there. And Lincoln was like kind of pissed off at the comment. But there's a lot of Midwest people that live in the general West Coast. I would imagine there's going to be a huge Michigan turnout for this game. I don't know if it's going to be because of the, sold out but you told me 40%, 35%. There was a huge contingent. So I don't know. I mean, can USC stop the Michigan running game? The quarterback, obviously he's talented, but is he good? I get a lot of buddies in the NFL that text me a lot because they watch these games and they hear the slop fest of the announcers for players. And they're like, we get it. Like Bryce Underwood, no one's disputing his talent, but you're acting like he's fucking Cam Newton or RG3 in their prime in college. Like he struggles to complete balls. Not all his fault. The offense can be a little hit or miss. It was actually better when what's his name took over. But what's your take on the quarterback, Michigan in this spot, and just USC? This would be a big win for them.
Yeah, we'll start with USC, Michigan. I mean, Underwood's going to be good. He has all the tools. But it's going to take some time. There's going to be some ups and downs. And then also he's on an offense. I don't like the offensive coordinator. The offensive line has holes. The receivers aren't great. Like Donovan McCauley in Indiana transfers, they're number one. This kid Marsh is emerging a bit as number two, but they drop a ton of balls. And like, if you look at, it's just NFL quarterback rating for all of the college quarterbacks this year, Maeva, the quarterback for USC, is fourth. And I mean, he's completing 70% of his passes and leads the country with a 12 yards per attempt average. Underwood's 88. And that's not all on him. Part of it's on the offense, the calls, the receivers, the offensive line. I'm not sure Michigan can keep up. Now, they're going to have success running the ball. But like everyone, before the Illinois game, everyone was talking about USC as a potential playoff sleeper, including me. Now everyone is off them and thinks that they have no chance and they're done. I have the complete opposite take. No, I think that, so what happened in that game, number one, they're coming off a bye here. Michigan's traveling across the country, across time zones without a bye. Big Ten teams who have had to do that, who have had to, basically cross two time zones, are like 33% against the spread. They've been horrible. So advantage like situationally for USC. But what happened in that Illinois game is USC played the latest game possible on a Saturday night against Michigan State, like 11 p.m. Eastern kick. Then they had they had to do the traveling to Illinois for the earliest kick. Obviously not ideal. But in addition to that, more importantly, their stud left tackle, Elijah Page, was out. He's the quarterback of the offensive line. They have I think they have the best wide receiver duo in the country in Lane and Lemon. Lane wasn't fully healthy. He played only 30 snaps. Page should be back. They had to shift their right tackle to left tackle. Their guards are right tackle. And Lemon and Lane should be at full strength. And if you haven't seen their running back, that's where it all starts with a Lincoln Riley offense. He's outstanding, averaging over 7 yards per carry. This offense at full strength, which I think it will be this week, for my money, is the best in the country. But on the defensive side of the ball, their captain and green dot, Kamari Ramsey, who's going to play in the NFL. He plays safety and slot for them. He's been playing slot. He's the green dot. He was ruled out the morning of because they had a food poisoning bout the night before, which impacted about like 7 or 8 starters. Most of them played, but they were not effective and they were a bit lethargic, especially on the defensive line. But Ramsey was so bad he couldn't play. He was out. Their other starting corner got hurt.
If you play a Division I football game or an NFL game with food poisoning, you should get like a Medal of Honor. I've gotten food poisoning once in my life, and I swear to God, probably 12 hours in, I'm not the most religious person, but I said, God, if you're going to take me, take me. It was the worst experience. Now, it might have been a bad case.
Yeah.
But even if it was a mild case, if you're able to do, I couldn't get out of bed, bro. I had to like crawl to the toilet.
What did you get it from? Do you know?
My friends, and I'm still a loyal customer, but I think a bad batch at Chipotle. It was rough.
Yeah, I've never had it bad, so knock on wood. But their starting corner got hurt. They already had injuries at corner. So basically for that entire game, they were playing 2 freshman corners. And then in the slot, they had to put a true freshman who'd never played before, a true freshman safety who had to play slot. And they were without their green dot, who they didn't know about until the day of the game. And the defensive line was dealing with food poisoning. And yet, in a terrible spot with food poisoning and a bunch of key injuries, on the road against a ranked team, they lost at the last second field goal. So I'm not off of USC. I think there's a ton of extenuating circumstances. Ramsey should be back. They should be healthier. Maybe they eat something bad in LA, but
Illinois ran Philly special. I was watching that game on the plane on the way back from the Ryder Cup. They came out. That was would they just lose the week before by 60?
They lost 50 by 50 to Indiana. You were going to get their best effort. It was a nightmare spot. So I'm not off of USC at all. I like them in under a field goal. Michigan's going to have success running the ball, but I think if they can just stack the box here, because even with their young core, there's also a stud nickel who they might get back for the first, who might make his season debut, I should say, this week, which would allow Ramsey to go back to safety, which I don't know, I'm getting in the weeds here, but they can stack the box here. I don't think they have to worry too much about the Michigan receivers. And I just don't think Michigan can keep up regardless. So, yeah, I like USC at home. In regards
Haynes is one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, he's
I can talk to people. He's a top 50 pick in this round.
Michigan's got success on the ground. I just don't think that they can match USC score for score. In regards to Indiana, Oregon, I have so much trouble with Indiana. If I just go based on their game grades, and power rate them, right now they're a top 3 team in the country. They destroy teams. They destroy a ranked Illinois team by 50. This is what happened last year, too. They destroy all these teams.
But that Illinois win this year is better than anything they had last year.
Yeah, and I think they're better. I think Mendoza is a potential first-round draft pick at quarterback. I think he's better than Rourke. Their trenches are better. When they played the best teams last year at the end of the season and in the college football playoff, they were missing Drew Evans, who's probably their best offensive lineman. Their guard, he's back this year. They got bigger in the trenches, but there is still something to, I think, I almost treat them as having 2 ratings until I see more. I rate them against everyone else, where they're just so good and they execute so well that they're going to blow out these teams. But then when they step up in class against, the top 5-ish teams with all 4 stars and 5 stars, because Indiana just doesn't have the same type of dudes, the same type of blue chip players, that doesn't translate as well. So, I don't know. Maybe this year is different. Could be. But that's my hesitation there. My other hesitation is with Oregon. So, Oregon didn't play anybody.
It's almost like if Boise State would have had to play in the Pac-12. It's one thing to play one-off situations where it's if Indiana was in the Mountain West, but they were going 11-1, and they only had to play one game against an Oregon, one game against whoever, you'd be like, damn, I kind of like them in this spot. But going through the gauntlet of the season is a little different. Boise did get a lot of New Mexicos and San Diego States on the schedule. So when they got their one-offs against TCU, Georgia, Oregon, they could just fucking throw the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. No, you're exactly right. But Indiana's breaking models on how they beat some of these teams. Only a top 5 team would do what they've done. But what we've seen is when they step up in class, it doesn't translate. So far, small sample size, but that's just my theory. You almost have to have 2 ratings for them. Where I struggle with Oregon is they went in, they were so impressive at Penn State. That was the only real opponent they played this year. How much of that had to do with Penn State, though? So that's after Penn State losing to UCLA. You have to.
See, I'm going to push it's Clemson clearly is not good, right? I do think Penn State was good, and then they had approached that game like their Super Bowl for 9 months. I mean, that's all they thought about. You had been talking. They're not showing anything. That was their Super Bowl. That was a game that even if they lose Ohio State later in the season, they would have been on cruise control to the championship game, to a top 4 seed. They would control their own destiny if they won the championship game. And then you lose it. It's just, I don't even think anyone could walk straight the next day. They're just dead. And then I can't even imagine the week of practice, the week of focus. Everyone just kind of tapped out almost.
No, I agree with that. There was a huge emotional hangover. You had to travel across the country, play a winless UCLA team. But Franco's teams never lose those games, which is weird. They never get upset.
I don't think they'd had a build up.
Yeah, that build
up like that Oregon. I mean, we've been talking about it since April.
Yeah. but it does make me, this gives me a little pause. So yeah, I mean, I'm just having, if I had to, I think my numbers say to take the points, but I know my numbers are probably too high on Indiana. So if I dial that back, I'm like, if I use the ratings of what Indiana's done, then I think this line should be like 6. If I adjust it to like, okay, I think there might be like a 3-point drop off when they play like the super elite teams, then I think it should be like 9. So I don't know. I have nothing in the game as of now. We'll learn a ton about if this Indiana team is different. But I have no interest as of this moment of betting either right now.
Okay, before we get into the NFL, we got 2 big SEC games: Bama at Mizzou and Georgia at Auburn. A lot of people are on Bama, obviously, which is a crazy shift given where we were a month ago. But they've been good. And then to me, the line with Georgia, I would have expected, this Auburn team, the quarterback has struggled. Their defense is obviously pretty good, but thinking that Georgia would be favored by like 8. And when I looked this morning, what is it, 3.5?
3.5, yeah.
That was an eye-opening, and you told me a little bit about it before we hit record. But I mean, if you fuck around and lose this game, I mean, for the first time, like, Georgia's just not going to be a factor when the playoffs come around, because they would be in major trouble, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I played both dogs here. First of all, the Auburn, they're coming off a bye. Georgia is not, but looking at this, Georgia's defense is just not the same. Their secondary's been bad this year. I mean, you look at that Tennessee game, Alabama. Their secondary is not playing well. They're also not getting pressure. Like, their defensive line doesn't have the same caliber of dudes up front. They're 108th in sacks per game in the country. And Auburn, like, I would argue Auburn has a better offensive line, a better defensive line, better receivers. So both secondaries are struggling. Stockton is better than Jackson Arnold, but it's not like Stockton is a first-round draft pick, elite talent. The key for me with Auburn, I mean, Jordan Hare at night off a bye, that home field here is as big as you can get. But Jackson Arnold needs to basically be movie directed, and Hugh Freeze is unable to do that on the road. He has to basically just, hey, before the play, tell him in his ear, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to look here. And Auburn has elite, some of the best receivers in the country. And Georgia's not getting pressure. So I think Hugh Freeze, who has 2 weeks to prepare for this game, one of the best play callers and schemers in the game, one of the most successful coaches against the spread as an underdog as well. I think he's going to be able to like handhold Arnold against this vulnerable Georgia defense. And I think that Auburn's defense has been elite against the run. They have elite edge rushers. Keldrick Falk might be a first rounder that I think are going to cause Stockton enough issues. And I think this game goes right down to the wire. So I took the 3.5. And with Missouri, people might be surprised that line is only 3. Missouri's undefeated, hasn't really played anyone. They handled Kansas. They beat South Carolina, but both of those teams are not, college football playoff contenders. Well, Alabama's had a tougher schedule, but this spot, I mean, first of all, the spot is a dream for Missouri. Whoever made Missouri's schedule must have been
it's like the opposite of Florida or Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, Missouri, number one, they haven't played a road game yet. They played 5 home games. And
how's that even possible? It's middle of October.
And they have a bye before this for another home game. And Alabama's coming off wars against Georgia and Vandy, a Vandy game they wanted. And Missouri before the bye week had UMass. So they basically had 3 weeks to prepare for this game. And look, they have a kid who might be the best back in the country, in Ahmad Hardy, who has 570 yards after contact this year. Jesus. Which is more than.
I'll be honest. I haven't watched.
He is Missouri an absolute monster. He can breakaway speed, can break tackles. He's going to be a factor in the NFL. He has more yards after contact than 18 teams do total in the country. And they have another back who's averaging, I think, 8 yards per carry. Pribula is their quarterback, the Penn State transfer. He can move. Those operations do cause Bama fits, and they have.
I feel for the little guy here, Stuckey. I'm looking. He was Sun Belt Freshman of the Year last year. I'm like, oh, this is an older guy. No, he's 19 years old. He went to Louisiana Monroe. Boom, SEC just buys him, and now he's sweet. Which I don't blame the kid for doing it, but sucks for Louisiana.
He went to La Monroe last year and was their entire team. Like he would just get hit in the backfield and then run for 20 yards, like a dreadful team. But he was their entire team, and I don't know how he ended up there. But yeah, Missouri's rushing attack has been elite. And they're going to give Bama. I mean, Bama's defense. You want to talk about it? Bama's defense is sort of like Georgia's. I mean, for what it's worth, they're tied with Georgia, 108th in sacks per game. This defense is not super elite up front. It's not the same kind of guys. I mean, if you want to look at it over the past 2 weeks, so on the spot, they give well-rested Missouri team. They're going to get a couple guys back. Wait on their left tackle is the big one. We'll see if he plays. He's really good. His backup is not. And if the backup has to go, then they're going to have to use the tight end more to help, and then they can't get one of their best receivers in the slot as much. But I think they're going to be able to run the ball regardless. I mean, if you look, Georgia and Vandy ran for 8.5 yards per carry over the past 2 weeks. Florida State ran it 40 times for 260 and controlled that game in Tallahassee. The Bama defense has not been great. Now, Ty Simpson's been playing a lot better. The Missouri secondary is not great. What they do have, really good run D. Bama struggled to run the ball. And elite pass rushers. They have 2 of the best in the country, 2 that rank in the top 5 among pressure rate of all edge players in the country. One's a Georgia transfer. So they're going to be able to get to Simpson. Now, Simpson's going to be able to hit some throws because Missouri can't really, they're not going to cover Alabama's receivers. Don't hate the over in this. My only concern there would be Missouri just controlling the clock. I mean, they're averaging 40 minutes per game of time of possession, which leads the country. I think they're going to stay ahead of the sticks. This is a dangerous game for Alabama. The spot is awful. I think Missouri's going to be able to run the ball. I think this goes right down to the wire. I took the Tigers.
Saban would have been licking his lips to play running back like this, but now I was flipping back because the noon window last week was pretty good, right? Florida, Texas, Penn State, that upset, and then Bama, Vandy. And I flipped back to Bama, Vandy. And Vandy ran this like quarterback power, and Pavia took it like 50 yards. I mean, if Pavia would have been a faster quarterback, he would have taken it to the house, and the fucking thing just opened like the Red Sea. I'm like, God, the Dante Hightowers and the big time defensive linemen sure didn't look like it on those plays.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia, Vandy, 48 carries for 377, 8 yards per clip. Those 2 teams, and Missouri has the best rushing offense in the country. So, yeah, that Vandy game, I mean, look, Bama, there's a drop pass.
Vandy's good. Vandy's
very good. Yeah, top 20 team. But so is Missouri. Bama could have easily lost that Vandy game. I mean, you're talking about two turnovers in the red zone that were just massive swings, and then the final score looks a little more lopsided because Bama ran it in with like 10 seconds to go for a meaningless touchdown. RIP to anybody who had Vandy, but they could have lost to Georgia. They could have lost to Vandy. And we'd be having a much different discussion. So Ty Simpson has redeemed himself well. He's playing well. But there's the SEC this year, there's not much separating these top teams and the mid-tier teams. And there's going to be more chaos coming, I'm just telling you. And I think one of Alabama or Georgia goes down. Wouldn't be shocked if it's both. I did take both underdogs plus 3.5.
I'm going to tell you on that. Okay. Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Rivalries, upset, chaos, college football is the best. And when you sign up with Hard Rock Bet today, you place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. How do you beat that? Do not sit on the sideline. Download the Hard Rock Bet app now. Plus, today and tomorrow on the Hard Rock Bet app, you can get a college football profit boost for the games. Boost your college football parlay so your bet pays extra winnings. There's new promos daily, so if you're listening to this later, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Head over to Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app and make your first deposit today. Okay, let's go to the NFL, which I actually think has a lot of similarities to what you just described in college football. It's wide freaking open. I mean, now a huge element of this are injuries, but like the difference between the Bills and the Colts to me is not much right now, right? The difference to me, the Niners and Tampa and the Rams and Seattle and Philly. I know Philly's playing on Thursday night, but regardless of what happens, like it's all pretty similar. So we're going to do a new little segment called My Hammers. one thing I've learned from you is you got to be careful about narratives and blowouts and stuff, specifically in the NFL, and how teams battle back. And, these guys are pros. But also, I think sometimes you just get undervalued, like the way people just assume and talk about the Saints. Oh, they're going to be the worst team in the league. They're going to get the number one overall pick. They'll probably draft a quarterback. Well, it's like, one, there aren't the great quarterbacks right now in college football. And two, like, I've watched a lot of bad teams in my life. They're not that bad. Their defense isn't great, but offensively, like, I'm pretty impressed. And New England, who wins this incredible game at night against the Bills, Diggs looks like Justin Jefferson mixed with Jerry Rice. I mean, where's that guy been? Obviously, Drake May's coming out party, but younger team, new coaching staff. Like, now, this is a good, Vrabel. If you said this is year 4 Vrabel, I'd be like, they'll be ready for this. But year 1, these guys getting to know them. Like, I could see them coming in a little flat in New Orleans. I'm going to hammer the Saints right now, plus 3.5.
All lines brought to you by Hard Rock, right?
Hard Rock bet, baby.
So I agree. I played the Saints. It's just a tough spot. We'll see if
do you agree for a team that is going to be drafting really high? Some of those teams last year were horrendous. That is not this team. They are watchable on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, I bet the Saints the last 2 weeks, and bet them again this week. I mean, their offense is not terrible. I mean, they have weapons. The offensive line isn't bad, and Rattler's playing okay. Like, if you look at all quarterbacks, I'll pull this up right now. Rattler is playing at like a league average level. I mean, if you look at, let's see, EPA plus completion percentage over expectation or adjusted EPA per play. I mean, these are all, he's around like 18th to 20th. Dropback success rate. Yeah, like he's playing at like a league average level, which is all he needed to. Last year, he's playing as the 1 or 2 worst quarterbacks in the league. So, yeah, the spot screams New Orleans. This team is playing competent football. They had one really bad performance in Seattle that just got away because of a bunch of special teams errors. But the offense has weapons. You even have Taysom Hill back, and Rattler is playing well. And I'll make the Patriots prove to me that they can go on the road, win by margin after that huge win. It's going to be a process with the Patriots. Like, that was an impressive performance. The Bills came out so sloppy, though. This is still a team that lost to the Steelers at home. They lost to the Raiders at home in week 1 pretty handily. So, yeah, I like the Saints as well. And to your point, with all these teams, I mean, if you look at market power ratings right now, like, you can just derive like where all these teams are ranked, which takes into account injuries and current states of teams. Like, where, I mean, the Ravens would be a bottom 5 team right now in the market. The Packers are probably number 1 in the market, but within a point of them, it's the Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Rams, and then, maybe like 1.5 points down from the Rams to 2. You're talking Colts, Broncos, Chargers, Commanders, Seahawks, Texans, Bucks, Jags, Niners. Like, then that second tier is only like a couple points behind. So, yeah, the top 6 teams are within like a point of each other right now. If I had to take one team, like tomorrow, the current states of the team that win the Super Bowl, I probably would take the Packers, but you could make a case for 7-8. Like, so yeah, the parity as of this moment right now, it's never been stronger in the NFL.
You've been saying this, and it's evident. I mean, I've watched every snap of their games now twice against the Niners, and then the Monday night. Jacksonville's well coached. There's no arguing that. Their defensive coordinator, I had to Google him during the Monday night game. Kind of crazy background. Played at Rutgers for Schiano way back in the day. Hasn't been in the NFL that long. That's just a good hire by Liam, because that team, I mean, they hit really. Obviously, they're creating turnover stuff, but they hit. I mean, they are fucking crushing people. They're a well-coached team. Liam is clearly a good coach. But, like, I think Seattle's coaching staff is really good too. I think Mike's a stud. I think Kubiak's good. So if I go, okay, let's cancel those guys out. Coaching staff's pretty equal. Sam Darnold, that game on Sunday afternoon was fantastic. I mean, watching those two guys duel it out. And like, it wasn't your typical, like Patrick Mahomes, awful throw. There was the pick six to Lloyd, right? It's like, you can't throw that. You threw it right to him. Sam's pick, like, he was hit. It was like a great blitz call by Todd Bowles. So at first you see, like, what is Sam doing? And then you see the slow motion replay. It's like, well, he got crushed and the ball came out the wrong angle. He was playing a flawless game, and both guys were. It had to be, at one point in time, one of the great dual quarterback performances we'd ever seen. They had like 4 incompletions and like going into the fourth quarter. It was incredible. I'm doing the math. Like, this is stupid.
Awesome. Like 6 straight drives with a touchdown back and forth. So,
I would take Sam Darnold over Trevor Lawrence. Like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. I know he had some big plays. I mean, on 3rd and 7 in that Monday night game, but I actually think there's a sizable gap. Like, and I think if you polled all the GMs, I think it would be like universal. Like, so if we got the coaching staffs equal, I lean Sam Darnold. I don't lean. I mean, I'm taking Sam Darnold. And then you factor in, well, Seattle was at home. Their game ends, 4:30 in the afternoon. The Jags don't play again till 24 plus hours later in a very physical, taxing game. I know it's a long flight. Obviously, Seattle, like, you play at Seattle, you're just used to long ass flights because you go to Jackson, you go to Miami, or you go to the Northeast. It's long, but I'm hammering Seattle in this spot plus 1.5. I think Seattle's good. Like, I still think they could win the division. I still view them as a playoff team. Obviously, you got to win some of these fringe games. You can't find yourself, and that could be the difference of 9-8 and 11-5 or whatever. But I'm not getting off Seattle just because they lost that crazy game to Tampa.
Yeah, I like Seattle. I bet Seattle as well. So agree with you here again. My only concern is the injuries on defense, like DeMarcus Lawrence. He didn't practice yesterday. Ernest Jones, their linebacker, didn't practice. Then their secondary last week, they were without 3 starters. Like, Reek Woolen got hurt. They were without Julian Love. They were without Devon Witherspoon. And Nick Imamura didn't practice yesterday either. So they're running out of bodies. I don't know who's going to play. I think they're going to get a couple of those guys back. That's all I need. But I already played Seattle. But that's something to just note. Jacksonville, yeah, it's not a great spot off that huge emotional game now, short week. Here's the thing. I mean, you want to just go by, let's just go by, I mean, Sam Darnold, by every single metric so far this year, just statistically has been the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you want to look at adjusted EPA per play, success rate, EPA plus completion percentage over expectations. He's number one. Lawrence
kind of got like a Josh Allen vibe to him, like scrambling around, throwing the ball down the field. Like, it's just like, Jesus.
Yeah, the offense is absolutely humming. Lawrence is like, if you take adjusted EPA per play, it's like 18. And
Rattler.
So he's been like an average quarterback, and Darnold has been elite. The other thing worth noting is, I mean, Jacksonville just traded Tyson Campbell to the Browns too, and they swapped corners. So like there's some in a short week, there's some flux there. But Jacksonville's playing a ton of zone. Guess who's been the number 1 quarterback by far against zone? It's Sam Darnold in this offense. And I don't think Trayvon Walker is going to play. He's so important for that defense. Like, if you saw it last week, Mahomes had all day to throw. And because if you just have Josh Hines Allen, you have one guy to focus on. If you have Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, that's when they're able to generate pressure. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to play again. They also had some guys in the offensive line get beat up. So I think it's a good matchup and a good spot for Seattle. My only concern is the defensive injuries, but McDonald's, he's been nails on the road. He's been great on the road his entire tenure. And this isn't like Baker Mayfield in those receivers, as far as, with the way that Lawrence is playing and the receivers that he has. So I'm not as worried about the defensive injuries in the secondary. But I did play Seattle with you. I think they get it done. There's also some turnover regression coming for Jacksonville. I love the hire. The defense coordinator hire was great. Part of that is last year was a disaster. They were running man coverage at the highest rate in the league. They didn't have the guys in the secondary to run man coverage. So they're playing more zone now. They're playing, Devin Lloyd is playing at an all-pro level.
Jeez,
but last year they only had 9 takeaways the entire season. They have 14 this year already. They lead the league there. There's going to be some regression on that front. So yeah, I like Seattle. I like your hammer with you.
I don't blame Jacksonville, because it's always hard when you come in and you inherit a guy who hasn't quite lived up to the hype. It's like, of course the Giants gave Kayvon Thibodeau a 5th-year option. They drafted him, even though I think it's a stupid move, but it's like, that happens sometimes. They didn't pick up Devin Lloyd's 5th-year option. And he's having like a Zach Bond type season. I mean, he's been incredible. He's
been like the defensive player of the year, arguably, so far.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna. Luckily, he plays linebacker, so even if it does cost you some money, it's not like doing that to a wide receiver, a corner, or offensive tackle. but it is costly. I mean, it definitely is costly. Everyone thought, right, if you just polled people that follow the NFL, you'd be like, Daniel Jones, comeback player of the year, lock. Well, then this guy named Michael McCorkle-Jones raised his hand and said, well, my guy's got turf toe, and I plan on playing who knows how many games. It might be like 12 this season, and I'm not going to lose fucking any of them. And anyone our age remembers Byron Leftwich being carried in that Marshall game that I think was like on a Thursday or Friday night. McCorkle just had one of those games the other night against the Rams, just getting crushed. His knee's about to fall off. He's dry heaving, and he's just slinging that pill around with guys you've never heard of beside Kendrick Bourne, who was literally just cut and anyone could have signed him. And it was an incredible performance, Stuckey. When you just factor in that's Mac Jones, who's clearly banged up, and who he was playing with against, I mean, an incredible defensive line. The Niners' offensive lineman, even McKivitz, who's not great, is injured in the game, and he's just getting beat like a drum. And the Niners got a lot of momentum. That was also Thursday night. So they've had some time. They still have a bunch of injuries. I mean, I would be stunned if Purdy plays. Who knows? I mean, to me, Purdy could go on IR at any moment with this turf toe situation. Pearsall's still injured. Jawan Jennings still injured. But those guys didn't play last week. Now, the Rams corner situation, like they have a good team. Their corners are not good, right? That's a flaw for that squad. Tampa's been just having this magical year. I mean, the Baker Mayfield MVP buzz gone from like 25 to 1 month and a half ago. I looked yesterday, it was like 8-9 to 1. I mean, that thing's plummeting. This is long travel here for the 49ers. But man, you just got to ride the wave right now. Mac Jones, because I expect Mac Jones to play as we're recording this on Thursday, +3. Let's roll.
I'm with you. I played +3. I mean, yeah, they have long travel, but so does Tampa. They were just in Seattle, and San Fran has a couple extra days. They played on Thursday, extra prep for Shanahan, who's doing a really good job with this offense. I mean, do you think the Pearsall or Jennings and one of them are going to play?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, those guys, to me, I'm much more confident. Like, if Purdy's not playing. Not if Mac Jones is healthy. Like, to me, those guys could not practice during the week and play in the game. So it's a little harder to tell. If you told me one of the two of them play, I could definitely believe you. I do think they feel a lot better now. One, they know Bourne, and two, Mac knows Bourne. So it's kind of a unique, weird pickup, right? It's not like a totally random guy. Kittle, though, I mean, he announced this. I was in the Bay Area on Friday, and I listened to his press conference on radio. You know, Kittle's not playing in this game. So which he technically could have, right, based on the 4 games. They just, Alfred Collins, who makes the play of the game, sprained his knee in that game. And nothing like the 49ers. A game ends, a guy with the play of the game, and then they tell you the next day, like, yeah, he also sprained his knee. Like, no one does that like the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners are beat up on defense too. But I think there's not much separating the teams because number one in my numbers, there's not much separating them at all. Actually, you have the Niners better when fully healthy. But the Bucs have a ton of injuries too, like Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin even popped up. He didn't practice yesterday. Their whole right side of the offensive line is out. Their secondary has injuries. They lost one of their key defensive linemen for the year. This defense, I mean, the Seahawks averaged 8 yards per play last week. This defense, the Bucs aren't capable of pulling away from anyone. I mean, the Bucs are 4-1. You know what's happened in all 4 wins? They won in the last minute. They had to come back to win. They have yet to win a game by more than 3. So, like, yeah, you're going to give me 3 with Shanahan and Mac Jones. I'm taking it on the road, extra rest. Both teams are traveling from the West Coast. And this Bucs team, look, Baker's been amazing, but they've definitely been fortunate in the turnover department in close games. And if Baker comes back and wins again by 1, 2, or 3, so be it. I took the points. Counting on you, Mac Jones. Funny story with Mac Jones is Mac Jones slid into my wife's, it was my girlfriend at the time, my wife's DMs once when he was in high school and she was 25. He was visiting University of Kentucky. He was committed to Kentucky before Alabama, actually. And he was visiting University of Kentucky. And he was like scrolling on Instagram or Twitter or something, and was like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing tonight?" And she showed me, and I didn't know. I knew that he was like a high recruit. I didn't know who he was. We still laugh about it to this day. So yeah, Mac, you owe me a cover here for that. And Yeah, that's my funny story on Mac Jones. But I bet the Niners. So I agree with all three of your hammers.
I think, obviously once Saban offers him a scholarship, he's not going to turn that down. But if he had gone to Kentucky, it's safe to say he's probably not a first-round pick with his talent and those rosters. And who knows where he's playing today? He might not even be in the NFL. So I'd say it worked out pretty well.
Although maybe Shanahan would have got him originally later.
Yeah, like a 6th round.
He wanted him. Maybe he still would have saw something and got him later in the draft. That's the thing. Mac Jones was the guy that Shanahan originally wanted, and now he has him.
Well, I'll say this about him, and I said after that game, I'm never going to besmirch his name. Part of it all gets back to, is like you can't take Mac Jones number 3 overall. Historically, guys like Mac Jones, we're in this inflationary times in society. It's no different with quarterbacks. Mac Jones would go in like the 3rd round, right? No issue with that. You want to take a guy like that in the 3rd round, 4th round, whatever. You start taking him, even Belichick at 15, it's hard. Now, he's clearly a solid player. Like, he's a starter in the NFL. He's not bad, but that his physical attributes, 15th overall, let alone 3rd overall. Now, it turns out anyone you would have taken at 3rd overall, Fields, Trey, Mac, it would have been a problem. Now, maybe Mac would have been the less of the problems, but it's still like, how could he have lived up to 3rd overall? He might have just been able to function. I would imagine, too, the Patriot thing was the first time he'd really faced any adversity, right? He came into Bama. They won the championship in 20. He made the playoffs as a rookie. Like, life was pretty good for Mac Jones, right, as a quarterback. And then he kind of...
Yeah, he's probably matured a lot.
Big time.
Over the years, and which you can
people were like, he's checked down Charlie in that game. He made some throws and clearly physically to last. When the players like Fred Warner and Trent after the game was like, that was badass.
He was puking on the sidelines. It looked like it was crazy. He was.
How about he woke up that morning where they were staying in the hotel and saw a dead body floating in the water? Do you see that story?
No.
He woke up in Marina Del Rey. It's like where they stay, I guess. Some fancy hotel. It overlooks the ocean, and wherever his room was on the balcony, he looked out and there was a body floating.
No way.
That's how his day started.
That's insane.
And then he went on to beat the Rams, and I would say one of the cooler Niner victories of the Shanahan era.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was
an amazing game.
They got lucky. I mean, McVay, the only way they were going to stop him there is if he ran it up the middle, and he ran it up the middle.
But, terrible play call from McVay, but a gutsy deserved win for San Francisco.
Any other games? Like, there's some big lines. Like, obviously, your Ravens are in shambles injury wise.
I don't. I mean, I got to see the Ravens injury report. I can't bet them. I'm not going to bet them. But like, it's hard to quantify just how bad the Ravens defense is right now with all the losses, and we don't even know exactly who's going to be out. But it's not going to be the full complement. But they're basically the last couple weeks the worst defense in the league. And then the drop off from Cooper Rush to Lamar, like I thought it was like 7, 8 points. It might be more, like because your whole offense changes. Like you couldn't have a more drastic difference in quarterbacks between Lamar and. So I don't know. I don't know in that one. Let me see what else.
The Colts hosting Arizona, who have obviously that devastating. I mean, an all-time just disaster.
One of the biggest meltdowns I've ever seen.
I mean, probably historically in the NFL when you factor in him dropping the ball. But then you factor in the Gannon drama, which I think finding him, I don't know where you stand, is insane. $100,000. He apologized. They're all cool. Move on. But I just think there's a lot there. Kyler's banged up now. Like that, this feels like that thing could just fracture. I think Jonathan Gannon's been solid. I think their coaching staff is solid. I just think it's hard. Like their quarterback's Kyler Murray. It's just hard to win with that guy. I saw a stat a couple weeks ago that his career record is the worst career record in division. It's like 7-25, whatever the winning percentage is for any quarterback that's ever got a second contract.
It's not pretty. How does Arizona respond? Your guess is as good as mine. Do they rally? Do they let that derail their season? I don't know. They also have a ton of other injuries. Is Murray going to play? I don't know. Way too much uncertainty. But I mean, that line's out to 7.5. The other game I did play the Chiefs as a short home favorite against the Lions. I think the Chiefs offense is back from what I've seen the past 2 weeks with Worthy, Thornton. Mahomes is throwing down the field. It looks like the old Chiefs offenses. And this Lions defense is in shambles. I mean, they're going to be without their top 4 corners. Their safeties are hurt. It's an absolute shell unit. And that means they're going to have to play more zone. You don't want to do that against Mahomes, but their corners aren't going to be able to stick with Kansas City speed. They might have to try to blitz more. You don't want to do that against Mahomes. I don't know how they get stops. And look, the Lions have looked great, but there is some context to that. They lose handily to the Packers. Then they beat the Bears, who were missing their entire secondary. They beat the Ravens with their hurt defense. Then they beat the Browns with Flacco, who was benched. And then they beat the Bengals with Browning, who was so bad they had to trade for the guy who was benched in Cleveland. So, yeah, their last 4 opponents, the Bears and Ravens, 2 of the most injured defenses in the league. Then the Browns and Bengals, who swapped backup quarterbacks the week after playing the Lions. Throw in all of the injuries in the secondary for Detroit against this uptrending Kansas City offense. Desperate spot. I'm trusting Mahomes and Reed to get it done at home. I played Kansas City Sunday night.
How about a little overaction, Carolina-Dallas?
I played Carolina plus 3.5. Do I love it? No. I mean, Dak's been great. Their run game's somehow been great, but there's so many injuries on Dallas. I know they just beat the Jets, but Carolina's not that awful. Like, this is, I mean, the Cowboys just closed as a dog at the Jets. Now you're laying 3.5. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I took the home dog catching over a field goal with all the Dallas injuries, and the Dallas still has a really bad defense. I think Carolina can keep that close.
It's early, but Javonte Williams looks like one of the better signings of the offseason. Like, he looks good.
They have they signed one of the most underrated signings, it appears. I mean, Dallas is number 1 in success rate, in rushing success rate in the league. But one of the most underrated signings looks like Clayton Adams, who is the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He was the offensive line coach for the Cardinals the past 2 years. Their run game was elite. Now they've had injuries this year, but he's doing a tremendous job. I mean, the fact that they're number 1 in rush success rate with, they don't have the best back in the country. They've had all kinds of offensive line injuries. So he's a name on the rise, Clayton Adams for Dallas. But I think they've a bit of an overreaction for last week. Carolina is not that bad. I took the 3.5 at home with the home dog.
Okay, Stuckey. Have a good weekend, and I know you won't be sleeping much on Saturday. Hell, Sunday we got an early turnaround, don't we? Got one of those international. We got the New York
I got a
Jets.
Hawaii game at midnight, which will end at like 3 a.m.
Will you honestly watch every snap of that game?
Yeah, I'd never go to sleep till it's all over. Then I'll grade games. I'll sleep maybe an hour or two. Get up, record my podcast, put on the London game. Going to the bar Sunday. We're having like a baby shower party, but it's just our baby shower this year is just, we invited like 50, 60 people to my wife's bar, get a bunch of food, and then open bar for people and just watch NFL. That's the baby shower.
Hell yeah.
So I'll be there all day and night.
You ever drink on Saturdays or Sundays, or just too much work to go on?
Yeah. I mean, I'll generally Sundays, one of the 2 days I'll get after it. Like, it depends. I don't like to go out the entire weekend like I used to. It's just too much work, and I'd get too far behind the 8 ball. But like this week will be Sunday. I'll be drinking all day and night. Sometimes it's Saturdays, but it depends on the weekend. I prefer my week goes so much better when I don't. I just will have a couple of drinks at home on a Saturday or something. If I stay at home all weekend, a couple of drinks on Saturday, I won't drink on Sunday. My entire week is so much better, I'll tell you that. But yeah, usually 1 day a week.
It's crazy, bro. You get old. I went to a 40th birthday party for my buddy and just had just a throwback all day drinking sesh. And I even tapped out. Like, they went to like 3 a.m. I started at like, noon. I could go to about midnight, and I didn't feel right. That was Saturday. Or shit, that was Friday. I didn't feel right for like 4 more days. Like,
yeah, my problem is I don't stop. So I'll be the last one. It'll be 6 a.m. It's bad. So yeah,
I've gotten better about the tap out. I used to be the same.
I need to. I need some tips from you in the future.
Okay, later, bro. Talk to you soon.
Bro, have a good weekend.